Well, Hurricane Sandy may have devastated communities along the US eastern seaboard, but it hasn't derailed the American elections set to go ahead on Wednesday, our time. For US-based Māori, the election holds great significance. And, well, Shane Taurima has been from Salt Lake City to New York talking with them about how they'll be voting. He joins us now live from Washington, DC. Shane, tēnā koe.
Kia ora, Scotty.
Give us a sense of what it's like to be there on the east coast of the US after Hurricane Sandy.
We've spent the past 2.5 days in New York City, where the death toll sits at 37 and is expected to rise. 650,000 people are still without power and are expected to wait up to a week for it to be restored. Now, in the wake of chaos and widespread distress, people seem resilient. As one young guy said to me at JFK Airport this morning, things could have been much worse. But as New York is struggling back to life and the recovery will take some time, it's the small things, I suppose, that give people hope, like the first subway trains that rolled out this morning. Who would have thought that the sound of a subway train could put a smile back on people's faces?
And what are the effects of Sandy on the election, Shane? Is Barack Obama a shoo-in now?
As they would say here, Scotty, absolutely not, by the stretch of your imagination. Sandy, as you could imagine, has dominated news headlines over here for the past few days. It's literally blown Mitt Romney off the front pages and put Barack Obama back into the headlines, but for the right reasons. His decisive and swift action on Sandy has earned him praise from some of Mitt Romney's biggest supporters. Now that counts because the election is so close. The flip side, of course, to that is the millions of people affected by Sandy and their despair. Now, that could lead to one or two things. Firstly, they could vent their frustration and anger at the perceived lack of progress being made towards the president, or they could simply not turn up to the polls. Now, talking about polls, and I have to say, there are as many polls here as there are street corner hot dog stands. Polling suggests that Obama and Romney, that the race is neck and neck, and that either man could be moving into the white marae behind me in 3 days' time.
The white marae, I like it. Now, Barack won by 6% 4 years ago. The big question is, can he retain those who voted for him back then now, in this election coming up, like the women's vote, the youth vote, the black vote? Can he retain those votes?
It's estimated that around 25 million people have already voted. Now, no votes will be counted until Election Day, but some states have already released the party affiliation of people who have voted. Now, sources say that Obama does hold an apparent lead over Romney in some key states. I can also tell you that Obama's camp is quietly confident because apparently two-thirds of those that have already voted are blacks, women, Hispanics. And it is expected that Obama will win the majority of those voting blocs.
Let's just say Mitt Romney wins. What will the impact of that be on Aotearoa?
Well, let me say, Scotty, before Sandy, Mitt Romney was without a doubt the standout performer in this election campaign. He's achieved what so many described as the impossible. He's dented Barack Obama's lead and he's turned this into a neck-and-neck race. The road ahead does look tougher for Mitt Romney, but I wouldn't rule him out just yet. It will come down to those key swing states. And as the polls suggest, it will go down to the wire. In terms of how it may affect New Zealand's relationship with the United States, well, who really knows? At the end of the day, there are more pressing matters, I think, for the new president, and indeed, if Mitt Romney is that person, and issues in his own backyard, actually, to tend to before thinking about little old New Zealand.